right, we are recording.
No.
Welcome to the Let's Talk podcast, because that's what I decided to name it because I didn't want to do anything specific. I just wanted to use it to talk about like whatever.
Okay. Yeah.
Um I have my friend Ron. Say hi, Ron.
Hello.
So I kind of wanted to start with some small talk. So, how are you doing? What have you been up to besides, classes?
I've just been hanging in there. Nothing too much happening.
Yeah,
Uh,
same. I took a pause from editing videos for a while just cuz I have them pretty I had a few lined up. I still have two more that are scheduled up until the 24th. So, cuz I have them on a schedule right now.
that's good. I've also just been taking a break too because my motivation's been tanked.
Yeah, that's partially mine a little bit. My motivation to edit has been a little bit on the downside just because, after doing so many for so long, you kind of get worn out or burnt out or whatever.
Yeah, I've definitely been burnt out.
Oh, yeah, especially that's why I stopped uploading for a while. Like, there's a gap between my Resident Evil and the best of 24 that I did. It was exactly 2 months because I uploaded the Resident Evil in November on the 15th, and then on the 15th of January is when I uploaded the best of 24.
Uh,
Which not
yeah.
completely not intentional at all. I just happened to notice. I was like, oh, wow, that's interesting. That it just so happened to be on the same day. So it was exactly 2 months. And speaking of exact days, um, today is actually marks the fifth anniversary of my first video.
Really?
Yeah, 5 years ago I uploaded my first video. It's on Happy Wheels.
Huh.
Yep, happy St. Patty's Day.
Woo.
Woohoo! Even though I'm not old enough to drink or do any of that crap.
And I ain't either. I ain't gonna do it anyway.
Right? Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's the 2 year anniversary of the Raleigh thing, which was definitely one roller coaster.
Hmm. Oh, one of your videos like that blew up or
One
something?
of yeah, one of the games that I made or
Oh
helped
yeah,
make.
yeah. That's pretty. How do you do that, by the way?
I just managed to just learn it, and then stuff happened. I can't. It's a full in-depth thing.
Ah, okay.
Uh,
Yeah, I'm sure there's a lot to it. Yeah, cause
because I
some.
helped a lot with the early bit of it, which like snowballed into what it is, and now I'm kind of just like, please shut up about Raleigh.
Yeah, I feel like whenever, especially with content creators, whenever something blows up, people just talk about it all the time because of the one thing that they like that blew up. Which
Yeah.
it's like with these guys that I watch, the Goons, the whole clip of him prank calling Wendy's and saying something about a baconator. Like he was acting like he was speaking Chinese, and then he called again and said baconator, and then started doing the accent again. But that was something because I actually listened to their podcast too. I've been listening to theirs. They're pretty funny. Definitely not for everyone because they can be pretty offensive, and their humor is a little for some people. But I like them.
That's nice.
Yeah, because
Uh,
as far as podcasts, I was listening to Markiplier's Distractable. But then I started getting into the Goons and I started listening to theirs.
Hmm. I don't really listen to podcasts much, so I'm like not good at them.
Oh, yeah. I mean, pretty much the premise of it is, you talk about stuff pretty much. That's about
That's
it.
fair.
Yeah,
That's
but
fair.
the problem with my first one on this one specifically was I kind of went in half cocked. I didn't have any topics or anything lined up. So I tried to at least have a little bit of like brainstorm topics for today so that I didn't
Okay.
go in just to make one.
Good planning. Good plan.
Yeah. But I do also like the idea of doing small talk at first, especially because I don't plan on having a set thing for these. Because the last time I did one, like the last episode, was in
Like a
January.
set schedule.
Yeah, no, I don't have a set schedule because I don't always have the time.
Uh, yeah.
So it does create issues sometimes whenever you don't have the time to set aside.
And also procrastination. So you just
Yeah,
waste the time you do have.
yeah, yeah. Well,
I'm
and
all
part
too
of
familiar with that.
yeah. Well, I mean, and I think part of it too is just trying to get people to talk to is my issue. Trying to find the
uh,
time to get people to talk to. Because, like, I would have had my friend Sterling on today too, but he has to go to work. Like, he has to be there by 3. So,
it's been a busy month.
yeah,
I've just had
yeah.
a lot of schedule stuff on my mind. What is my birth month to be fair, so you know,
Oh, nice. What
like
day?
I'm going 25th. I'm
25th?
going to see my grandparents next week, so I'm having to schedule around that.
That's cool. Yeah,
Yeah,
funny you mentioned that. Your birthday is actually 2 days after my friend Sterling's.
really.
Yeah, his is the 23rd.
That's neat.
Yeah, yeah, it is pretty neat. All right, so first thing that well, I do have a list here. It's a very generic list. It's not like really detailed or anything.
Doesn't need to be.
No, it doesn't need to be. But I guess speaking of like going away or whatever, one thing I have on here is what would be your dream vacation? Like if you had an infinite amount of time to plan the perfect vacation, where would it be and what would you do?
As an introvert, I have absolutely zero clue
Oh, trust me,
because
I'm an introvert too.
I don't go nowhere, so I don't really,
Right.
plan for that.
Okay, so
And
theoretically, if you didn't have to worry about interacting with a bunch of people, what would you do?
my kind of vacation, if I were to, I'm so like hyper focused on like money that my mind can't really think of a spot that would, of course I don't think luxurious, you know what I mean? So
Yeah,
like an average getaway would be my kind of vacation. Just like one to take a
right.
break for a moment, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's true.
I kind of just go with what I get. I don't really have a dream. I don't have like a dream car. I don't have like a dream house or nothing. At least probably not yet. I don't know what I'll be like in like 5 years or something. But
Yeah.
I just go with the flow.
I mean, yeah, that's kind of me too. I don't really have a dream. I mean, I do kind of like have an idea of like a vacation I would like to take, like that's on my bucket list before I die, would be to visit France.
Oh yeah.
Especially because I took 3 years of French in high school, so that would
Ah,
be really nice. And I have a friend that lives in France, and not Paris either, because everybody's always going to Paris. That's like the number one
yeah.
spot that people go to. The place that I would go to is a place called Vitre, which is not does not do the French pronunciation justice, but I'm just for simplicity's sake, I'm just gonna say that because I'm American and I Americanized the pronunciation.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, that town is very like they have preserved their historical stuff, like their buildings and all that. It
Oh,
looks so cool, and the fact that people live there and it looks like that is just amazing to me.
that's actually really neat
Yeah,
because I also have like a fascination in history with like how things evolved to be how they are now, and it's that honestly sounds really interesting. To be honest,
yeah,
like if
yeah.
I
Because I,
wanted to, I'd probably go there too. I mean,
yeah, yeah. I mean, it's definitely beautiful. Like if you look it up, it's I like I said, it's called Vitre. It's Vitre, but the E has an accent, so it's technically pronounced Vitre. So, yep, it's definitely something I want to do at some point. Maybe not in the next 5 years or
hmm.
whatever, but because just because plane tickets are fucking ridiculous.
Yeah,
I mean,
I've
just to
never
go across the country is ridiculous sometimes.
really.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I personally have never had to buy plane tickets, but I've heard that they can be pretty pricey.
Um, I've
But
never been on a plane. Period.
really, I've only been on
Yeah.
technically twice. Once to go to Florida and once to leave Florida. Back in and I know this is gonna be like, oh my god, but it was during COVID. During in the summer of COVID, we went to visit my mom, my sister,
Oh
and I
no.
went to visit our family in Florida. But
Hmm.
according to my mom, the tickets were pretty cheap. I guess because nobody was traveling.
Huh.
So I think it probably depends. And probably the airline as well, because there's some that are probably like top tier airline with like all this special stuff
Yeah.
and what kind of
Or
class you
just
get. Because there's like first
or,
class and all
yeah, and
that.
also the company themselves because companies, popular companies like to price their stuff up because of course they do.
Yeah, that's the only problem with that is that companies do like to jack prices up on stuff.
Hmm.
Unfortunately. But that's the whole thing about economy. Did I say that right? I don't know. Economy.
Economy.
Yeah, economy is it's all about money. What makes you the most
Hmm.
money?
Yeah, can I do a side tangent real quick?
Yeah, go ahead.
So like VSTs, like the things that people use to help make music and stuff.
I haven't really heard of that, but
Basically, like there's sample packs and stuff for FL Studio, which is like, instruments and whatnot, or like
okay.
synthesizers. They are fucking expensive.
Mm,
Like, there's this like top tier company that makes. They probably have like a monopoly over it, to be honest. Now that I think about it, but like, their full like sample pack they use for somebody uses it for a game that I like, and I'm like, what did they use? And I looked up the thing that they use, and it's like $600.
oh my god.
I don't got that kind of money. And even like the cheaper ones, they make $200 look like two cents.
Mm. Yeah, that's the only problem with like wanting to follow in the footsteps of your like people you look up to as far as if you're trying to get into a certain thing is that you're like, "Oh, I want to do that. I want to have something like what they have." And then you look it up and you're like, "Oh, never mind. I'm going to have to give up my fucking arm and leg just to get it."
Thankfully, there are way cheaper alternatives because
Oh yeah,
who would
definitely.
want to do
There's
that?
that's like, for an example with anyone that does content creation, it there are some pretty cheap alternatives out there. Like I got the mic that I have,
Yeah.
which obviously I can't use right now because I've been having issues with it, but it
Mm.
was like 30 something dollars.
Oh.
And granted that was a sale price. It was normally like 60, but that's still not bad considering,
Hmm.
the more expensive alternatives.
Yeah.
And it's funny that you
I have one of the sorry. I have one of the more expensive ones. I have like the Yeti Nano, which is like $80. I got
hmm,
this like 4 or 5 years ago though.
yeah, and it seems to work pretty good.
Yeah, even after all this time, I mean,
Yeah,
does its job. If it ain't broken, don't fix it.
yeah. I mean, that's kind of the mentality that I use. If it's not broken, then there's no point in replacing it. But
Yeah.
my mic is broken, so I'm gonna have to replace it.
Well, it's broken. Might as well fix
Yeah,
it.
if it's broke, might as well fix it. But yeah, it's funny that you mentioned something about that because I've kind of been in a similar thing. It's not as far as like making games, it's more I've been had a recent obsession with drumming and I kind of
Hmm.
want to get started with drumming. I kind of want to do that. I feel like that'd be really fun. But the problem is I am what you would call well, technically I'm what you would call poly musical because I listen to like all sorts of shit. Like I don't care what genre it is, I'll listen to it pretty much.
Yeah.
But my main one is rock and metal. And the main
Hmm.
reason why I like those two genres are the drums, especially in metal with the double bass, like the double foot
Oh,
like
with the
pedal thing.
double kick drums, yeah.
Yeah, those sons of bitches are like $1,000 because I looked up, you know, I was looking up drum sets and I was like, oh, cool. And then what about the one that oh, wow, yikes.
Yeah, that's kind of yeah. It seems like I guess it's that way for all kinds of other hobbies and such.
Yeah.
There's this one YouTuber that I know that you might have heard of. I don't know. I don't have super confident that you might have heard of him. Dank Pods.
No, I have not, unfortunately.
But he has like an alt channel called like the Drum Thing, where he's like full on professional drummer, right?
Hmm.
And he taught me all that I know about drumming, which isn't much, but I guess it is a good entry level because he taught me about like uh the cymbal brands, like the drum brands and stuff. Just like he's a really cool YouTuber that I know or
I'll have to look into
watch.
it. Yeah, I'll look into
Yeah.
that. Yeah, my main thing that I do as far as like YouTube and drumming is like I'll look up drum covers of songs that I've listened to and stuff like that
Ah.
because I like that. Especially some of the ones that I watch, they're pretty talented. Like they're pretty good.
Hmm.
Like here recently, I've been watching. Granted, it's a little bit different because it's not like a YouTuber; it's like the actual source. Have you heard of Drumeo?
Romeo?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Well, I think so. It's a YouTube channel, but I think they also do drumming lessons. Like
Oh.
they sell drumming, like I guess programs or whatever to learn drumming. But recently, I've been watching. They have drummers from bands on their channel, and the ones that I've been watching have been from Sleep Token. And dude, that guy is a beast. He's amazing. He's wicked good. Cause yeah, some of them. I mean, it's cool to watch that stuff, but it's also like Jesus Christ, you were fucking so fast that it is hard to follow what you were doing.
Yeah. I
Like
know what you
some of
mean by
them,
that.
like another one that I think is a very talented drummer is Mario Duplantier from Gojira. He's a good drummer too,
Hmm.
but his is more like theirs genre is kind of like a more heavy metal,
Uh,
but it's still good. Oh, anyways, so that was actually another topic that I had listed was music.
well, we got into that. I mean,
Yeah, we did. I mean, I kind of
guess it
talked
wasn't a
about
side
mine.
tangent after all.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I don't mind, especially because
Yeah.
I have ADHD, so sometimes I go into side
Uh,
tangents anyways, and it turns into a whole tangent, and then
Same here.
yeah. But it's nice. That's the whole point of this is for me to, for us to talk and,
Yeah.
give our thoughts and opinions and stuff.
Mhm.
So I talked about my musical preference. What about you? What's like your go-to?
Very much like if like video game music.
Video game music?
Yeah.
So in the sense of like soundtracks or the
Yeah.
ones that are based on video games?
Honestly, both. Like what do you mean by like based on video games? Like
So like there's this guy called JT Music and he makes like FNAF songs and Doom songs and stuff
oh,
like that.
so like I mean, I don't really listen to those often, but I'm mostly video game music.
Okay, so like
Just like
more
from
on the side of like
soundtracks.
soundtrack. Yeah, okay, I get you.
Yeah.
That's why I asked because I know that there's both of those. So
Yeah.
that makes sense. That's pretty cool. I mean, I don't really do that. I think the only kind of soundtrack song that I've ever listened to was the one off of that movie Annihilation with Natalie Portman. There was one
Hmm.
song on the soundtrack that I really liked. I don't remember I think it. Hold on. Let me see if I can find it. Because I don't remember the specific name of it. Mm, da, 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 da. The Alien. That's what it is. That's the name of the soundtrack.
Hmm.
It's called The Alien, and it's off of the Annihilation uh, soundtrack.
Hmm.
Yeah, and there's a part in it which, if you listen to the full thing, you'll probably recognize it that a lot of people use in like memes and stuff. But
Oh.
yeah, like in fact, one of the guys
Wait,
that yeah,
is it the one where it has that like beginning bass that sounds kind of like oh.
kind of like or something like that. Yeah, yeah, that one where like something, if somebody says
Something
something,
happens
yeah,
and it just zooms in and it just freeze frame for a bit.
yeah, pretty much.
I might have it in my mind for what song
Yeah,
that is then.
yeah. Like I said, you'll probably recognize it if you listen to it because it's kind of hard to miss because a lot of people
Yeah.
I feel like use it.
Mhm.
But yeah, that's cool though.
Yeah.
I never even really thought about that. Like listening to soundtracks.
One of the reason why I love video game soundtracks so much is because it's like two layers above listening just normally.
Mm,
Because uh you're both because you're also doing something at the same time. Like so the music is hits even harder.
yeah, I was gonna
Because
say,
yeah.
yeah. A lot of people probably also use it for background noise, like if they need background noise,
Yeah.
more than likely.
Mm,
So definitely good for that.
yeah. Because
Mm,
I definitely do that for background noise whenever I'm developing something.
yeah, yeah, that's fair.
I also love when like for some reason I have a really keen feel for like artificially sounding music like sound fonts
Mm,
because something about it that it just has a certain kind of feel to it, like soul.
right.
Doesn't feel super calculated and everything. It's just like somebody threw it together and I kind of just appreciate it, you know what I mean?
Right, yeah. I definitely get, other
Like,
than oh, go
because I feel like it'd be like the most kind of passion.
yeah. Yeah, cuz as far as artificial um stuff, I mean, I guess you could kind of label some of the, if you would like to call it, music that I have put together, cuz what I pretty much do is I use a website called BandLab, and
I
they
think
have a
I've heard
bunch
of
of
it.
like, yeah, it has a bunch of loops and stuff, and I kind of like put some together and make
Uh,
a song out of it. There have been a few
w-
though that
uh,
I've done like the like for the drums, I've like like manually put where I want the beats, like whether it's a kick or a tom or a snare or whatever.
yeah.
So I've done that on a couple of them.
More what I'm trying to convey is like samples that have been like super like they crushed and reused over and over again, like Super Nintendo,
Mm,
that kind of thing.
gotcha.
Uh, but also I get what you mean in that realm because like YTPMVs,
Yeah.
where they just throw a bunch of clips together, pitch it up and down, and somehow make something so good sounding.
Right. Yeah, that's like with those people that make like those DJs or whatever that make beats out of just random some of the most random shit, like just people talking and
Yeah,
making noises. That's so cool, I think.
yeah. It's funny because I've also developed an ear of that because I used to listen to YTPMVs so much, like when I was like 11. So I just hear like a specific sound, like a specific toilet seat slam, and I'm just like, that would be a good snare. I've had
Yeah.
that happen before.
I mean, yeah, it makes sense because I'm pretty sure that's probably how most of those people, they just hear everyday noises and they're like, "Ooh, that would sound good as a snare." Or, "Ooh, that would sound good as like a lead or a guitar or whatever." I
Yeah,
don't know. Yeah,
yeah,
which is I
definitely a unique craft, that's for sure.
right. Yeah, that's and definitely creative. Like to be able to use sounds around you and make a song out of it is pretty cool.
Yeah.
It's like apparently one of the songs that I like from a band called Bad Omens, it's called The Death of Peace of Mind. According to the fans, the singer it was during lockdown and he used stuff around his house to make some of the noises in the song and stuff. So
Oh,
I thought that was interesting.
oh, but there's a helicopter passing over if that catches in the mic, by the way. Uh, One's other song I remember hearing about was from like Doom Eternal, like
Mm.
the only thing they fear is you. The
Yep,
one thing that I heard about that song is that uh a chainsaw was used in the song as like a synth.
really? That's
Yeah,
badass.
from
That's
what I remember
awesome.
hearing. I heard that like 5 years ago, but it was like it's like really neat.
Yeah, that's kind of cool.
Yeah,
Which once again goes into the whole being creative and finding stuff around you to do stuff like that.
yeah.
Hmm.
And play by your own rules.
Yeah, do your own stuff. And that's one thing that I like about bands and stuff is whenever they're not afraid to do their own thing and not be chained down by one genre. Like they'll dip
Yeah,
into a little bit of everything,
yeah.
which is why it's sad whenever certain bands like Bring Me the Horizon, whenever they were starting to get softer, they were getting some hate. And like people didn't like the
Oh,
songs as much whenever they weren't doing like their heavier stuff and all that. And I was just like, I don't know, I like it because,
yeah,
like I said, I'm one of those poly musical people. I listen to a whole bunch of different kind of stuff.
yeah.
Sometimes I'll hear a song and it's got a mixture of stuff in it. Especially with stuff like Kim Dracula, he does that a lot. It'll have one vibe and then it'll switch over to heavy metal and then it'll switch back to a different genre.
Huh.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting the way that some of these people are able to do that.
Yeah.
Or with
Uh,
Falling in Reverse, they kind of like blend them together, not even like abruptly stop and do another one and then go back. It's kind of like they mix them together. But yep. some of these, they're very talented and very smart.
Yeah.
All right, something else. So, you said something about like whenever I was in school, I was a pretty big history buff. Like I loved learning about, all kinds of historical stuff.
Yeah.
And there were times where I was in class and I would say something and even the teacher would be like, "Oh, that's interesting." And just because I would, dwell whatever the word is, like I would look into it
Delve.
outside of dwell.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not good at
It's
English, bro.
delve, like
Delve, that's what it is.
DELV.
Okay, yeah,
Yeah.
delve into it, after school because it intrigued me.
Yeah.
So, one of the things that I had here, and I know some of it might be cheesy. I don't really fucking care. But I put if you could meet one historical figure, who would it be and why? Like if you
Huh.
could go back and like be alive at the same time as a historical figure, who would it be and why?
Hmm. Oh, you're asking me.
Yeah,
Oh, I. Sorry, I'm like zoning off.
it's all good.
I have to think. Do you have someone you have on your mind? Because I'll have to think about it.
Um, I mean, there's just so many that I think would be really interesting. Um, like any of the Greek philosophers and stuff that first discovered some of the stuff that we know now. I think it would be interesting to be
Yeah.
around them and watch the process of how they figured that stuff out.
You
Like
know,
how,
how they managed to figure it out and stuff.
yeah.
I have like a Western Civ class right now, and I think one of those philosophers at the time, like they because dumb people do dumb people things, they like shunned him for being like uh smart or something. I forget exactly, and I know that's oversimplifying it or just flat out wrong, but he was like convinced into suicide, or
Oh,
should I be able
that's
to say that? I should probably, but and Aristotle was one of his students and was like appalled about that, so he continued on with like researching and stuff. Or
oh yeah.
that's more in philosophy, but I found that really interesting.
I think I heard about that. I don't remember the teacher's name, but I remember something about that where Aristotle, like the person who taught Aristotle, like a whole bunch of crap happened with him, and Aristotle continued his work. I think I remember
Yeah,
hearing about that somewhere. I don't remember where, and I don't know the other person's name, but
I don't feel like pulling up my notes.
yeah, you're not in school right now, so you don't want to have to deal with
Yeah,
that.
I got a dang reflection paper I gotta do in that class. It's due tomorrow, and I haven't done a dang thing.
Oh,
I'm just going with the flow. I'll just do it when I want to. And
yeah.
like I'm still passionate about school stuff. Like I was annoyed as hell through high school because like, high school would do high school things, but like as soon as I got into college, I loved it.
Yeah. I think the main
But
thing that annoyed me in high school was other students. Like,
yeah.
being so fucking disrespectful, dude. It was like, dude, what the fuck is wrong with you
Yeah.
guys?
Yeah, especially with like, all the TikTok craze and everything.
Oh,
Uh,
dude, I remember hearing about like the devious licks shit where they would steal
oh
stuff. I'm
my
like,
god.
dude, what the fuck is wrong with y'all? Like, what?
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, I think I've had an encounter twice with somebody like asking me a question with a phone along the realms of that one video of that one nerd who's like Friday Night Funkin' or Black History Month, something along the lines of that.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I
And
don't.
I just don't deal with that. Thankfully, none of that shit happens in college.
Yeah. Well,
And
because they probably grow out of it. They're probably like, yeah, that was dumb.
yeah,
Let's not do
it's
that.
probably just like it's probably like a teenager do teenager things.
Yeah, my
As I say, as I'm literally a teenager, but
yeah, me, 19 years old.
almost 19. I'm still technically a teen, whatever. Uh, But
Uh,
yeah, I'm glad I can actually focus more, especially now that we actually have technology and we don't have to rely on Chromebooks. It's been a lot. Quality of life has been a lot better in college than at school. That's for sure.
hmm. Yeah.
Well, also because like you having to pay to go there and stuff, and you have to like deal with grants and financial aid and all that. But
Right.
it's worth
Yeah.
it. It's worth it for me because I don't feel like I would be mentally sane being in the same room for week because
Right.
I am like because I am diehard for a passion. So
Right.
I work
Speak.
on stuff and then just don't ever leave.
Yeah, that was like me in school. I was a good student. Like I would do my work, I would get it done, you know. When I got older, whenever I was younger, I
Yeah.
heard that I was quite, you know, mischievous. Not in the
I will,
fact of like being a complete like dipshit and fucking throwing shit everywhere, but
yeah.
I would just not stay focused and, whatever.
Oh my god.
But
Dude, I had it so much worse because I managed to get because I managed to get through tests without studying as like a kid, and then they threw me into the gifted kids program, so I just didn't know how to study until like 10th grade.
yeah, so funny you mentioned that. I didn't either.
Mhm.
I like maybe sometimes I would study, but most of the time I got by fine without studying. Like I would just
Yeah.
it's just
No, I
something.
still have that mindset.
Yeah. Well, it's just because it's like that whole thing where, you're going over it in class and you look over it so many times, and then you go to take the test and it's right there, and it's like, oh, okay, I can, that clicks with that,
Yeah.
that clicks with that. And if it's
Yeah.
something that you really struggle with, I don't feel like any amount of studying could probably help because you're still going to make a mistake because you're going to be like, do I do this or
Yeah.
do I do that? Especially with math. Math is the number one, like, if you are struggling with something, like, you can
If you're
study it.
struggling, it's over. But if you
Yeah,
if you know it, it's easy.
right. If you're
Math is probably one of my
struggling,
strong points. I mean, as a programmer, it's probably a good skill to have.
math, yeah.
Uh, I accidentally learned a calculus thing by trying to figure out velocities and acceleration.
Oh,
Like
wow. That's,
I could visualize it better in my head because one of the things in calculus or like yeah, in calculus was literally something I've done before, so it was kind of easy to visualize. But
huh,
like I remember my mindset right now is still like studying. I don't typically study, but like sometimes I do. I don't exact. I take notes obviously, but I don't really look over them.
right.
And my mind feels like I need to pay my time. Like I need to be really efficient with my time, despite procrastination. So it throws studying out the window first, and I have not grown out of that habit. Like I haven't built to designate time for studying, but I can designate time for anything else. Eight, 1 hour of studying, 8 hours of grinding in for netherite gear or something. 4 hour
Yeah,
lethal company session. You know what I mean?
right,
That kind of
yeah.
thing.
Oh, yeah, I definitely get that. Just because it's, I don't know. I feel like,
It's kind of just boring,
right,
just to
yeah.
put bluntly, because I don't. It doesn't really keep my interest well. Like I could be doing literally anything else right now. Why am I looking over stuff I've already taken notes on?
Right, yeah. And that's probably why I didn't study was because I already knew the
Yeah.
stuff and I was confident that I could pass the test, which I did.
Which in college it you aren't super confident in passing the test even if you know the material much
Hmm.
sometimes. So it's kind of just like an oh well, and you just hope for the best that hopefully you won't tank your entire grade. Which I feel like college grading, like weighting the grade, is a lot more lenient than in like high school because I could tank a zero and only take off like 10 points from my average, and then a B you could probably be alive with that.
Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely different than high school, sure.
Yeah. Eh, personally, I've just been. it's only been my like first year, so it's probably gonna get turned into hell at some point because I've heard that it does in fact turn into hell at some point. But I'm just appreciating every moment I have.
Right? Yeah.
Because one thought I had like a couple months back is that how we're so nostalgic over our childhoods and stuff. We're gonna be nostalgic over right now, and well, I've been right, so I'm just appreciating every moment I got.
Yeah.
Especially, I've been growing a new friend group recently.
Oh,
Like
that's
I
cool.
met a new friend group and stuff. Or, well, one friend, and I introduced him to another friend I thought he would vibe with, and he did in fact vibe with him.
Hmm,
And it's our little friend group.
that's
And
nice.
I have not had a friend group this good in a while.
Yeah. I mean, it's always
I'm
nice
not
to have
saying
good
the others
friends.
are. I'm not saying the others are bad. It's just that I really like hanging around. You really like hanging around people you really vibe with. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, I get that. But I mean, I
Uh,
also get the other thing, like the whole opposites attract thing, because that could also attract new friends, because it makes it interesting, because then you can discuss, especially if you're those kind of people that don't, give a shit if the other person agrees with you or not. You're just curious to see what they think.
yeah,
Because I feel like that should be what debating is not
yeah.
arguing and yelling at each other, more of hearing each other out and being like, "Oh, that's interesting," you
You know
know.
what? I have actually had that moment, and I feel like that's when I truly felt what debating was about because it's just like an opinion thing. They aren't gonna like shame you for it. Well,
Right.
partially, but that's the whole point of a debate. You know what I mean? You
Right.
gotta get
Yeah.
there. You gotta get. But it's not like I'm gonna cancel you for you saying that. I can actually speak my mind. You know what
Yeah. That's
I mean?
those are always the greatest people to be around, is where you can speak your mind and have different opinions without having to worry about pissing them off.
Yeah, because I have a friend. Uh, it's kind of political. We were talking about a political thing,
Mm.
and he introduced me to a like mindset that I didn't know about, which made a lot of sense because sometimes there's a thing where you're like, "What? That doesn't. Why would they think of it that way?" You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's kind of like
And
stepping into their shoes kind of thing.
yeah, and it's like, "Oh, that makes sense." Well, of course, there's moments where you're like, "Why the hell would you think that?" Dude, absolutely not.
Right.
But this guy did all this bad stuff. What do you mean? But it's really interesting when you get like a debate like that and not just like a one-sided annoying ass friend who just annoys the hell out of you and you're so glad that you left them.
Yeah.
I had one of those moments
Oof.
and yeah.
Yeah, they're not always good. They don't always end so well.
Mm-mm.
I I mean, it's not even really just friendships. It's any kind of relationship, depending on
Yeah.
how it ends. It could be not so pretty or pretty. It just depends on the circumstance and how you handle it.
Yeah. I've been definitely learning about that, that's for sure.
Yeah. Yep.
Especially with me being like a YouTuber game dev thing and stuff. It is one hell of a learning experience going from 100 to 20K.
Yeah, that's definitely a big jump.
If you're not going the content farm route, of course, but I am
Yeah.
trying to do that at least.
Yeah. I mean, I don't really do it for that. I'd like to be able to do it for that, like be a content creator, but I'm also a realist and like know that more than likely I'm not gonna make it there anytime soon.
Well,
Because I've
yeah, it's a definitely endurance thing, but I feel like you planning that in your mind is gonna it's like a self-fulfilling prophecy where you're just like I am going to fail kind of thing, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, it's not really
So,
like I'm going to fail. It's just more like I don't always have 100% of my time to dump into this. Because if
that's
I
true.
did,
That's
if I
that's
had
true.
100% of my time to dump into this, then I would have all the time in the world to try and grow it. And some
Yeah.
of my videos do pretty good, but not enough to where, like, I'm not monetized, obviously. So,
Yeah. I was on that route early in my career, like when I was like 13. I was a YouTuber content creator wannabe, but it was just not working out for me. So which led me into like music and game deving because it's its own flavor of content creation,
Right.
which I felt like I could specialize in better because personally, some people find me hilarious, but I don't find myself hilarious. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I can
Where
definitely get that.
you feel like your humor isn't like gonna get the views or whatever, or you
Right.
can do that specific type of video that you really care about, and in 10 of 10, I
Right,
have had
yeah.
to numb myself of 10 of 10. It is annoying.
Well, I can
But
definitely understand where you're coming from about like, you think that like other people think that you're funny, but you don't necessarily think that you yourself are
yeah,
funny. Like you don't view yourself in
like
that way.
it's definitely a surreal experience when somebody looks up to you. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, that is
Because
definitely.
I haven't really had that before. I haven't really had that before, and I've seen people talk to me like in a really nervous way. I'm like, really? Like not in a disappointing kind of way, but in like a surprise for me kind of way.
Right, yeah, because you don't expect
It's
that.
yeah, it's honestly really nice, just really neat.
Yeah. So, did you think of that one historical figure yet?
Oh my gosh, we were all the way across the world from that.
Nah, it's
uh,
good. I'd see this is what I like is being able to go on side tangents and stuff. It's fun.
yeah, yeah. Uh, Crap. I I feel like you know, it's probably like everyone else's answer, but like I'm just thinking it'd be fun to just vibe with Albert Einstein for a bit because
Yeah, it's
he's
fair.
definitely kind of my kind of rebelliousness because have you heard of that like story where he got like suspended in 6th grade or something because he just wouldn't do classwork?
No, I did not.
I heard of that, and I think in 6th grade. I forget where I heard it from. I knew I was in school when I heard it first, though. But it's honestly really interesting. That dude's just really like philosophical and stuff.
Yeah, he was like super
Yeah,
smart.
yeah. Also, it's just really neat seeing like, especially somebody like super far in the past that's helped tremendously. Like, you can show them all the cool stuff that developed from his work, his or her
Right.
work.
That would probably be really cool. Like if we were able to bring him into our era to show him the impact that his work has had, that'd
Yeah.
probably be really weird for him.
Yeah,
Be like,
especially the fact that time travel doesn't exist and all that. But
yeah, yeah, I'm, just saying, not saying that it would actually happen, but
of course, yeah. It's like,
oh, it would definitely be interesting, to say the least.
yeah.
Oh, well, um,
Any other things on that list?
yeah, there's a few. I'm just running a little, so I'm gonna end this before 3:30 just because I've got some stuff to do.
Okay,
But we still got a little bit of time.
all right.
So, speaking of high school experiences, have you dealt with? This is probably obvious, but have you ever dealt with bullies, or were you kind of like me, where you didn't like you kind of kept to yourself and didn't really interact with anybody, so you didn't have to worry about it?
I had a damn rivalry in 1st grade.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, and it's so funny because like I don't even remember what we were mad at each other about, but we were like mortal enemies.
Oh
And then
my
I
god.
and then I remember I met him back in 7th. We were about like the same height in 1st grade, right? And I met him again in 7th grade, and he was like 5 inches shorter than me, and it was kind of like, "Hi, how are you doing?" I think it was
Puny
like I
dog.
think it was like a frenemy kind of thing. I haven't seen him
Yeah.
since, but I found that kind of cute. But also there was the annoying like Fortnite kids in 2018.
Oh God, yeah,
I don't know. I
dude,
didn't
that
really
shit made
find like
me
anything
not
they
want to
did
play
to
the
be
game.
kind of comfortable.
Yeah, I like
But
hearing about
also
it
that
all the
was
time.
it was also the same time where I took offense to. I miss when the only political thing that I was worried about was PewDiePie versus T Series.
Oh yeah, right.
Yeah, and I remember I got like really offended by mining away because of
Oh,
course I did.
uh,
Oh, great.
yeah.
There's that like one phase of autism that you really just wish you could shut up. Because I had that phase and I see occasional comments from myself from like 10 years ago. I'm like, please, for the love of God, shut up.
Yeah.
That's great.
I mean,
Uh,
yeah.
besides that, I haven't really. But besides that, it's more like as haven't really had much in high school besides like fake fake harassment
Mm.
kind of thing. Because like I'm straight as hell, but people have said I look gay. So you know, yeah,
Yeah,
it's honestly kind of
people.
annoying. It's kind of annoying, but it doesn't
I can
happen
imagine.
anymore, so that's good.
Yeah. I can only imagine that. I'm sure that would get on anyone's nerve.
Yeah.
Oh, well, as far as myself, I think there were a few incidents where I was getting bullied in elementary school. I myself don't remember a whole lot about it, but I remember my mom telling stories how her and her friend showed up to the school and said you better do something about this and like
Oh
confronted
God.
the parents too about like their kid bullying me. And I know that I've had a few bumps. It wasn't like anything where long term bullies. Like I can't say like, oh, Jimmy from sixth grade bullied me, blah blah blah. Like nothing like
Yeah.
that. Just like little bits and
Yeah.
pieces of people just being fucking assholes.
Yeah.
Like
I've been. Go ahead.
I don't remember what grade I was in. I know it was elementary school, but we were inside and I think it was like raining or something, so we couldn't go outside for recess or some shit like that. And I was doodling something on the like whiteboard or something, and like with a dry erase marker. And
Mm.
I'm a kid. I'm just doodling, like doing whatever. And someone said something about like, are you drawing yourself? Because if that's you, you're pretty ugly. And I was just like, dude. Yeah. And I'm just like, me now, I'm like, that's such a fucking stupid thing to say. I mean, we're fucking kids. So, and it's not anything that I like lose sleep over where I'm like, that guy called me ugly because I was doodling. It's just something that I've noticed, like little
Yeah.
things that people say.
Yeah.
Because, and
I
then,
just can I just remembered that I was I was bullied by this one kid for how I stand up because I stand with like as one leg kind of out and then one leg fully supporting me because that's how I find comfortable. And then bro was like bullying me about that. I'm like, bro, why?
so now that you mentioned something about that, not as far as me standing up, but like sometimes when I'm sitting, I'll cross my legs.
Oh, I do that
And
too.
a lot of people, like, I think it was my uncle or someone said something about, like, why are you doing that? Stop. You're a guy. You don't do that. And I'm just like,
What?
what? Yeah, someone at some point had made that comment to me about, like, that's not very, manly. Like, why are you doing that?
I'm a man. I'm so manly.
Yeah, right? And my
But
mom, I think, was like, it's fine. you know? And
yeah,
that's
but
one thing, that is one thing, can I just say, that is one thing that I fucking hate about our society is that we still can't get over the fact that men don't have to be big, muscle bound dickheads to be masculine. Like,
yeah,
Men, we don't have to be completely masculine. Like, it's okay for us to have, to be weak sometimes. People act
Yeah,
like, men have to be strong all the fucking time. Like, we're not supposed to cry, we're not supposed to show emotion, and then people wonder why we're fucking heartless.
yeah.
Because you don't want us to show that we actually have a heart, and we care. I have a
Yeah.
cart in my heart.
Thankfully, I never really had anyone in my family try to push that on me, and my mom is so like supportive of everything I do.
Yeah, I mean, my
And
mom's
she
supportive.
she she encourages me to like take a moment to cry. But at the same time, I don't like to be asked what's wrong when I'm crying. So,
Or, are you okay?
yeah, I don't want to get into it. You could just be crying for no reason. I've had that happen.
Yeah,
Something's just in there that needs to get out, just let it out. I mean,
yeah. Well, and I feel like, especially with me, because I know it's not an excuse, but my mom and I, like, practically grew up together because my mom was pretty young when she had me, and
really.
my dad passed whenever I was pretty young.
Oh,
So it's been me and my mom for a long time, like me, my mom, and my sister. So I don't know if it was like a subconscious, like, I'm the guy, I need to be strong. I need to, like, if something's wrong, I need to, like, bottle it and not show them so I can be strong. And I was
if
like
you're
that for a while.
if you're comfortable, can you say like an age range, like early 20s, late 20s kind of thing?
What, as far as
Like how old she was when she had you?
she was 20, actually, when she had me.
Oh, my mom was 21.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Dang.
and I had like a dad-in-law for most
Mm.
of my life, and I didn't know that I had a like who my bio dad was until like 2019. So I didn't know who he was until I was 13, which is
Yeah.
kind of crazy. And now
Yeah, my
my mom's a single mom, and they
yep.
had a divorce and whatnot. They bought the
Yeah.
Wii.
Yep, my mom had a divorce too cuz she was the only marriage she's ever had was to my mom's dad, which who I still considered my dad because he was there for me whenever, after my dad had passed.
Yeah,
So I still considered him my dad. But yeah, it's just I, in general, I think that, you know, people shouldn't be afraid of their feelings, you know,
yeah,
and showing their feelings, especially men, because I feel like they get harassed sometimes if they do. They're like, "Oh, are you crying, little
yeah.
baby? Crying baby." Luckily, no one in my family, like my immediate family, is like that. They're all about,
Yeah.
show your emotions, don't bottle it up. It's okay to
Mhm.
cry, kind of
One of
thing.
these more recent years, I learned like I have control over who I surround myself with,
Yep,
because
that's a very big
it's
thing.
one of those learning experiences, that's for sure, because I had a really bad friend back not even that long ago, really. He was everything like transphobic, homophobic,
Mm.
sent offensive memes all the time. I mean,
I mean,
I don't know.
I like
But
offensive humor to an extent.
offensive humor, but he believed in it, and I didn't know about it until like almost a year after.
Oh yeah, like he believed
So
in it. Yeah, that's different.
yeah,
That's way
yeah,
different. It's one thing
hmm
to look at a joke about something and be like, "Oh, that's fucked up," and then be like, "Wow, that's really cool," you
yeah.
know?
Also, he like had a bunch of alt accounts and tried to portray them as real people, which I felt blatantly for. Not
That's
gonna because naive autism moment.
yeah.
Yeah, it's glad I got out of that. That's for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, as far as friendships, my constant has been Sterling. Like, I've known him since 6th grade.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so he's been my constant.
I've had several friend groups over the years. I honestly, my oldest like online friend. Uh, I met him in like 2017, and we were like the content creator duo for like a good 3 years, and then he just started acting annoying for a while, and then we just like disassociated for a bit, and we became friends again not too long ago, like maybe like a couple months back, around about. But he's
Yeah.
chill.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I haven't really had like, I mean, I guess kind of friend groups. My main ones have been Sterling, and then I had two other friends, Jack and Kyle. I don't really talk to Kyle anymore because, I mean, I don't really talk to Jack either, but it's not anything like bad. Like, there's no bad blood or anything.
Uh,
Me and Kyle, kind of, but it was kind of a mixture. So it wasn't like he didn't like, offend me in the sense of like, making fun of me or like, being an asshole in that kind of way. It was more of
mhm.
a just I would say something to him, like I would like for an example over graduation, I asked for his address so that I could send him an invitation to my graduation, even though I knew that he probably wasn't going to be able to come because he had a graduation too. But then again, they also aren't going to be on the same days.
Oh,
So
fair.
I tried to invite him, and he said that he was busy, he was doing something. And then, like, a few days later, I saw that he was online on some kind of video game thing, and I'm like, oh, so you're not busy enough to do that, but you're too busy to send me a
Mm,
simple text so I can invite you to my graduation and be a kind friend.
mm.
And that was kind of like the last straw because he wasn't talking to me,
Yeah.
and he obviously wasn't prioritizing, being a friend. He was just,
Yeah.
being some kind of way. So I was like, okay, I guess that means you don't want to be my friend anymore because I'm trying to invite
Yeah.
you to something and you don't give a shit.
Yeah, I really don't. I try to not do that
Yeah,
because I don't like doing that, and I really hate people doing that.
yeah,
I have like had another friend had that happen to him, and I just feel bad for him. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Because
It
nobody
sucks.
really deserves that kind of thing unless they do something really freaking bad.
Right.
You know what I mean? But like, because just say no.
Yeah,
Like, it
right.
ain't that hard.
Yeah, like
Yeah,
you don't have to be like beat around the bush. Like I would rather you tell me the truth. Like tell me, yes or no or whatever.
yeah,
So, yep.
yeah.
Oh, well, I think we're gonna have to wrap it up here soon.
Okay,
Thanks for
all right,
joining me.
no problem. Really
So,
enjoyed it. Not gonna lie.
yeah, it's real nice not, just taking some time to just talk. I think
Yeah,
that's really nice. Um,
yeah,
you said something about that game Repo, right? Like Repo, whatever,
yeah,
however you call it, Repo. I'll have
yeah.
to look into that because my friend Sterling, he said he's also played it a little bit, so I'll have to see
It's a
about getting that
really,
game.
really neat game. Yeah.
Alrighty. Well,
All
this
right.
has been the podcast. We are now on Amazon because I was able to link it, and it's on my channel too now. So that's cool.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it's gonna be on
That's
my
nice.
channel too. Yeah. So, yep. I'm gonna put
All right.
Ron's stuff in the description so that you can follow him. And
Thank you.
yep. See you later.
All right.